Allison said at the very beginning, it's just, I know I speak for all of you when I say it's been a bit of a lonely summer. And as your faces came in, especially those of you that are kind enough to have your cameras on, it's really lovely to see you. And absolutely, when I see someone come in, it's like, oh, I'm so glad they're here. I'm so glad I get to see this person. And that's not an exaggeration. It's been very isolating for all of us, as you know. And as we go here, we're just gonna embrace where we are right now and journey together into a little bit of the unknown. So I know most of you. I've met most of you at least once before, but for those of you who I don't know or haven't worked with yet, my name is Mr. May, and I am the music director and conservatory conductor, and I'm here with my friend Mr. Allison, who is the artistic director of SOGO. The two of us kind of oversee the operation as a whole, and Mr. Allison conducts the Academy Orchestra and the brass choir. So all of you from Academy and Conservatory are here together. And we're just going to have a grand old time for the next 45 minutes or so. So Mr. Allison is now going to introduce our teaching artists by way. They've all made a little short greeting for you. Most of you know these faces, but if you don't, these are the folks you'll be working with along with Mr. Allison and I each week.
And here they are.
Hello, SOGO. My name is Jean Whipple, and guess what I teach? I hope with this temporary online experience that I'll be able to help you get that music that's in here out there for the rest of the world to see.
Hello, SOGO. My name is Daniel, and I am the clarinet TA, and I am really looking forward to making music together in some capacity again. I've really missed it, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Hey, SOGO. I'm Elliot. I'm your oboe TA, and even if we're doing SOGO online this year, I'm still looking forward to helping you guys make a beautiful sound, and we get to make some of the best classical music together. I'll see you on Zoom.
Hi, SOGO. I'm Dan Muse. I'm the bassoon TA, double reed TA, and I'm looking forward to making music with you this year.
Hi, SOGO. My name's Liz Ward, and I'm your horn teacher, TA. I want to welcome you all to the 2021 season. Whoops, I gotta zoom off. Bye.
Hello, SOGO. I'm Dr. Ed Sandor, looking forward to the joy of making music with all of you this season.
Hello, SOGO. My name is Dan Craig, and I am so looking forward to learning about and performing orchestral music with all of you.
Hello, SOGO. My name is Aaron. This is my trusty tambourine, and something I'm looking forward to this season is making amazing music with some awesome student musicians. High five.
Hello, SOGO. I'm Mary Jo Ridholm, violin coach, and I'm looking forward to our group playing Hovannes. Hovannes loved youth. Bye.
Hey SOGO, this is Damien, and I'm really looking forward to getting a haircut someday. I mean, making beautiful music with you guys this year. I'll see you soon.
Hey SOGO people, I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you again, as well as making some new friends. And it'll be great to play some great music. See you soon.
Hello, SOGO. I'm Joseph Bixel. I'll be the cello coach for this season. I'm looking forward to making beautiful music. It's going to be a lot of fun. See you all soon. Bye-bye.
Hello, SOGO students. My name is Nick Masters. I'm your bass TA, and I'm really excited to be back and to be making music with you soon.
Mr. May and I totaled up all the years of experience, and so in our organization we have 597 years of playing experience altogether, and 389 years of teaching experience, and just even with SOGO, 142 years of experience, and that's even older than I am. So that says something. So Mr. May is going to share just a little bit about the specifics of how we're putting together the social or the SOGO virtual rehearsals.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Allison. So each, as you can see on your screen there, each rehearsal will be divided into 3 segments of about a half hour each. For our Academy Orchestra folks, the first half hour, you will meet together as an orchestra for a virtual rehearsal led by Mr. Allison. And this is when we'll be talking about things that pertain to the whole group. So we might play all together along with the recording or along with Mr. Allison. We'll be investigating pitfalls in the piece with the group as a whole, somehow replicating that experience of playing together as a group. You'll see each other's faces, you'll talk about the music, and just practice strategies and just things that pertain to the whole group. Then in the next half hour, you'll break up into breakout rooms. This is where we'll have sectionals led by the teaching artists that you just met or re-met. So this is, we'll be assigning you to breakout rooms, and this is when you'll go to be with your section and focusing on spots in the music that pertain to your section, problem spots, pedagogical tools, practice strategies, etc. This is where, as you know, I'm sure, we can't really replicate the playing all together and group sound over Zoom, but you will be in your section with your small group. You'll spend some time playing for each other and just kind of diagnosing things as a small group. And you'll also maybe spend some time playing along with your teaching artists, or discussing spots in the music, getting ready to record yourself, playing along with the click track, sharing those videos, just talking about things together that pertain to just your instrument. For my friends in Conservatory, the only difference between Academy and Conservatory in this respect is that because of the schedule, to make it work for the teaching artists, Conservatory folks, we will start with sectionals for the first half hour, and then we'll come and spend an hour together as a group. So both groups will have the same components, but they'll be in a slightly different order. For both groups, the last half hour will be an other activity, and that'll either be led by the conductor or by a guest. So we might talk about some music theory, we might talk about some music history, we might have some brave volunteers to perform for the whole group. Might talk about some goal setting or trajectory, looking at where we're going, miscellaneous other activities. You know, the nice thing about being virtual is we can have really folks from anywhere. And so we'll be having some guests from either local or from a long way away coming in to lead us through some activities. And so that last half hour will vary every week depending on where we're at as a group. More on that later, but that's just a general overview. Each rehearsal will have 3 components of approximately a half hour each. At the end, I'll talk more about the rehearsal schedule, but I also want to mention while I'm here that as we're going, if you have any questions about anything. If we go too fast or we miss something that you want to know, go ahead and type your question in the chat, and we have a time for Q&A at the end, and we will get to all of your questions. So I just wanted to mention that too. For those of you who are in brass choir will be, you'll come a half hour early before your orchestra time, and you'll spend half an hour in brass choir as well. What we are working towards, instead of preparing for a live performance, we are focusing on process, the process of pulling something apart and putting it back together, and we're focusing on the product of a virtual performance. And we're going to see an example of that in a little bit. But if you've seen virtual orchestra videos floating around in the last several months, that's what we're working towards. And so each group, if you're an academy orchestra, you'll be working on one piece between now and the beginning of November. And you'll be learning to play with a click track and record and play along with the recording. And then you'll be submitting your recording, and then we will be putting together a virtual video and sharing that with all of you. For conservatory and brass choir folks, we will actually be working on two pieces. And so one at a time for the most part, but we'll be have a little compressed schedule, and we'll be putting out two pieces. So for academy folks, our concert, if this were a normal season, our November concert would be November 1st. So for the academy folks, that is when your virtual, you will end up submitting your final recording to be put together into a virtual video. Brass choir and conservatory folks, especially for those of you who have done this before, you may remember that brass choir and conservatory typically extend after the November concert, and this is when we normally do SOGO, Ho-Ho, and Messiah. And so for conservatory, we're actually going to flip that around, and we're going to do Messiah first. We're going to work on one chorus for Unto Us a Child is Born. We're going to put that together and then send that off to be edited. And then we will turn to The Olympic Spirit by John Williams, and that will be our other production that we're working on. So you'll have one that's due in October, and then the other one will be due, we're going to extend past that November 1st date. The second recording will be due the week before Thanksgiving. And then for same thing for brass choir, you'll have a fanfare that you're working on, and then after that a socially distanced Christmas tune by Mark Thom that you'll be working on. So more information about that later, but academy, you'll be working towards a November 1st date, conservatory and brass choir a mid-October, and then shortly before Thanksgiving dates. And then for everybody, after we get those videos edited and put together, we'll be having a webcast of sorts in mid-December, and this is where we will present all of the videos from all of the orchestras for the public. So for families and fans everywhere, we will just run through the videos as if it were a concert with all the orchestras performing. So that's kind of what we're working towards. Let's see, what else? I think I covered it all. We'll come back to some more details in a bit, but that's kind of the overview of what we will be doing. And just to kind of get us kicked off and excited, Mr. Allison is going to introduce a guest that we have lurking in your midst today.
And some of you may have seen this or may have not. But Mr. Classen teaches at Drake University in Des Moines, and he's actually the instructor or the professor for one of our former SOGO students, James Klein. So this is what a virtual group will look like, and it's something akin to what we were going to be having with our youth orchestra and with the brass choir. But we found Andy Classen, who, again, like I said, is working with Jay Klein now back in Des Moines, Iowa, and has already become a good friend. At least I hope he views it that way. Anyway, so let me introduce live and in person, virtually, Andy Classen.
Hello, everybody. It's really exciting for me to be involved in SOGO. I've actually been out there about a year and a half ago when people could vacation. I took a vacation to Seattle and Vancouver with my wife and met with Jay Klein and his dad, and it's a very beautiful place there. So at any rate, we all had a shock in March when everything was shut down for the pandemic. I personally was playing in 2 professional orchestras, leading a big band, and preparing to play a number of Broadway shows, and it went from incredibly busy to nothing. And I know all of you had that same experience with all of your performing groups, and it was very sad. And I want to point out a phrase that I like to use, which is obstacles are those things you see when you take your eye off the goal. And so this is a huge obstacle. We can no longer play with our friends, and we can no longer play live music for an audience. And the Des Moines Symphony, which I play in, had a program that submitted video, and they'll put it on their website. So I came up with this idea of recording myself in a trumpet sextet, and I did that, and it was really well received. And here's my other phrase: something is better than nothing. If you can't do what you used to do or what you usually do, find something you can do. And so you can see from the video you saw, this is where I sat all summer with a whole bunch of different trumpets. And the first one was just trumpet and flugelhorn, and it was fulfilling. I learned things. I learned things about recording. I learned things about video, and I grew by listening to myself and trying to blend with myself and matching dynamics and intonation. And then I was like, okay, that was fun. I want to do another one. And so I did a little bigger one with about 8 trumpets. And then it was like, okay. And the one you saw there, there were 20 of me playing trumpet, flugelhorn, mellophone, bass trumpet. And eventually I was like, well, boy, I don't have enough low end because I play trumpet. So this summer I bought this thing, which is a bass trumpet. And there are not many people that have something like this, but it was really fun to learn. It was something new, something I'd never played before. So that's what I mean by taking an obstacle and turning it into an opportunity. And so I've learned a lot. It actually makes you a better player when you record. Now, what's going to happen is there's going to be a click track, a metronome, which I'm sure you all practice with. And that way they sync everything up. And you're going to listen to some kind of track that you can play with, so you blend and you play with good intonation. But the outcome is something you can be proud of. It's something you can share with your friends and your family, and it's something. You haven't made music with other people for a long time, so this will be a great experience. Again, I'm so glad to be helping you out and telling you a little bit about what I did, which is pretty much what you're going to do, except for you're going to do it with a bunch of different people. And it's orchestral music. I love orchestral music, so this should be quite a hit. So thank you very much.
Andy, thanks so much for being with us from Iowa.
Yeah.
And nice t-shirt.
Thank you.
You found a use for the sticker. We've never had anybody put it just on their shoulder.
That was completely accidental. I just noticed it now. I don't know how it ended up there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here and for taking the time out of your day. We really
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
And check out my YouTube channel. I've got a bunch of those things on there. And yeah, I hope this all goes well for you. I look forward to seeing it later on in the year.
Awesome. Thanks again. And something that Mr. May kind of went through and shared about the regular stuff, but there are also some special things, just like when we had Andy here, and he came all the way from, well, no, he didn't.
Didn't go anywhere.
He came all the way from Zoom. And the fun thing is that we'll be able to have special guests and master classes. If you've ever partaken of a master class or seen a master class, it's where a master player and master teacher works with a few students. And so some of our students will have that virtual experience. And we're excited about that because those teachers can be from anywhere. And so we're working out exactly what string person we're going to get, what woodwind person we're going to get, what brass person, what percussion person we're going to get to do some of those. And we're rounding up people just like we just found Andy Classen. And we have this connection with him through James Klein, and we're just thankful that you find people like that. And part of the other thing was we found another orchestra to partner with. And there's an orchestra down in Tampa, Florida, that went a little bit ahead of us into this putting on a virtual season. And so we wanted to see if we could find out what they were doing. And so we talked with their executive director, and it's all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing. And so we've collaborated with them, and we're going to be collaborating with them on an alumni share. We're going to have some of their alumni students and some of ours be on a panel and just talk about what are the paths, what could you do with your music? And you'd be surprised at some of the answers, because one of the people that's going to be on our panel is Michael Gazzetta, who was at the very beginning of SOGO, and now not right now, but he is a musical director on Broadway. So we've got master classes and alumni share, and those are going to be, by the way, with probably on a weeknight, like a Tuesday or Thursday night or something like that. And they're optional for you to go to. You don't have to go to, but they're going to be amazing, and they're going to be incredible experiences to hear from people throughout the country, and who knows, even throughout the world. And so some of our students, some of our conservatory students are actually going to be playing in the Tampa Metropolitan Youth Orchestra program, tuition free. And some of their students are going to do the same. We're picking 4 students from each group, and they're going to be starting with us, and we're going to be starting with them. It's going to be so cool. And there's more too that we're planning, but we can't share everything right away. So, you got to look forward to and plus, if you're a musician, you got to stay tuned, right? So we'll work on it. There are things that have to be done if you haven't already taken care of your tuition, which many of you already have. It's really simple to go online, and you click on the Donate tab on our main web page, and then you click on where it says Donate on the menu, and then you click on the Donate button to pay the tuition. And it's a pretty simple process, but for you to get our Google Classroom link, where you're going to find all the materials, you have to have that taken care of, or be on a payment plan, which is great. Make sure that you include the musician's full name when you're paying too. All right, so we can track it. It just makes it so much easier. And then we'll send you out the Google Classroom link this week. We're trying to do it as fast as we can, but we're all learning in this process. If you have any questions about the things that are coming right below this, you can send them to sogo.bookkeeper@gmail.com for any of the following. And if you need a payment plan, or if you're looking for a financial scholarship, or if you're in conservatory orchestra, and if you've been there for 4 years, if you've been in SOGO for 4 years, you can apply for a half merit scholarship. Did I say it wrong?
3 years going.
If you're going into your 4th year, if you're going into your 4th year in conservatory, then you can get that scholarship. It's a merit scholarship, and it's for half tuition. But you have to put that in pronto. All right. So hopefully that applies just to conservatory musicians. And then also there's a military discount of 10%, but it can't be used with any other discount. All right. So because we love our military families and folks, and we want to be able to help support them if possible. So after you've turned in your tuition, then then you can get your sheet music, but you have to get the Google Classroom link, and you'll actually be signing up for that class. And for brass choir folks, you'll be signing up for two, for brass choir and also for conservatory, or brass choir and academy. So you need to make sure that you're getting signed up for both of those classes, and there are two separate links. And the links will be sent out, again, as quickly as we can after your tuition is paid. And your part assignment, what part you're supposed to play, is also to be found there. Now, a conservatory for the wins, that's going to be decided later. So you're going to get all the parts of your section. So a clarinet player will be getting first and second clarinet, and they're going to be figuring out with your TA exactly which part you're going to play. But first and second violin has been already chosen for you, and you just need to go down the list and find out what part you're supposed to be playing. So check out those part assignment lists, and then just make sure, it's going to come as fast as we can get it to you, but give our staff a day or two to process it. All right? And the links that you'll get will look something like this, join Academy or join Brass Choir, and you just click on that and it will take you through the process. And a lot of you have already seen or participated in a Google Classroom. All right? And Mr. May will just talk a little bit about the times for all of us.
Okay, so for both groups, for Academy and Conservatory, you will be starting at 4:30 and ending at 6. For Academy, and actually for both groups, each group will have a Zoom link that you join. And all you have to do is join that Zoom link, and we will take care of everything else. So when you break out for sectionals, we will send you into breakout rooms. You won't need to leave something and join something else. So you'll just join the link for your orchestra, and we will take care of the rest. Again, for Academy, you'll start with full rehearsal, and then we will send you to sectionals, and then we'll bring you back for the last half hour. For Conservatory, you'll start in sectionals, and then you'll come back, and you'll end up spending an hour with me. I did get a question in the chat, I want to clarify this. Academy and Conservatory will be doing similar things the last half hour, but they will not be together unless we have a special activity that's both of us. But no, you'll still be separate. So each group's rehearsal will have the same 3 components, but each group will be meeting separately. The only time we'd really mix is for those additional activities Mr. Allison talked about outside of our normal rehearsal schedule. And so that would be a separate thing that anybody can be in. And if you are brass players, for brass choir, you'll come half an hour early, and that will be a separate Zoom link. So there will be a Zoom link for brass choir, and then you'll be in brass choir for 25 minutes, and then you'll leave that one and you'll join your orchestra's Zoom meeting. And I just want to be crystal clear on this for everybody. Miss Marin brought this up when we met with the debut orchestra last hour. These are the times when we're going to get going. So we will be opening up the Zoom a few minutes early, but really, we want you just as a normal rehearsal, like we start tuning and rehearsing right at the start of that time. We want to be able to start the activities at 4:30 or 4 o'clock for brass choir. So really, no fewer than 5 minutes beforehand, you need to be in the waiting room, and we'll let you in as you come, so that we're ready to go right on time. And the other thing I forgot to mention earlier is we recognize that there's not much of an opportunity for socializing and really being with one another through this format. We really wanted to do the best we could. This is the only guaranteed way to keep everybody safe, everybody healthy, and not have to change course in the middle, depending on how the restrictions go. But we recognize that there's a social aspect that's going to be lost. And to do our best to make up for that, we are going to have some weeks where we open up a little early or stay a little late and have just some social time. So there might be a prompt like pet show and tell, or talking about idiosyncrasies that I'm sure didn't get passed down from your parents, but you developed, and or just just some fun discussion stuff. So stay tuned on that. That'll either be in the 15 minutes before rehearsal, or we'll stay 15 minutes after rehearsal, and you can be a part of that too. This is going to get us through November with a virtual presentation of our work in December. And by then, we will have a better idea of what the health regulations and what the COVID situation is, to know what we can do starting in January. So, right now, we really have no idea. We can tell you right now that this is our plan through November and December, and by the time we get to the end, you and we will know what's going to happen starting in January. So I think that covers it on the schedule. I'm sure I'm missing something, so please feel free to type questions in the chat. And back over to Mr. Allison.
We just wanted to make sure, look, we're excited about this. We really are. And the possibilities, I mean, it's like the thing when you get lemons, you can just complain about it, or else you can make lemonade. And we've been given something that none of us would have foreseen a year ago. But we get to do this beautiful thing sort of together called music. And the product we will be able to share in just some really incredible ways. And we're hoping that it would be different than this, but this is what we have. And I think that we're going to look back on this and just go, my goodness, we got to meet people from all over the country. We got to hear some players and be tutored by folks that we never would have had the chance to be able to do. So just some things to think about. But also during our summer music that we did virtually this summer, we just learned a lot of lessons, and we had a great success, and we're applying those lessons learned into this season. But no matter what, the first week or two of SOGO is not going to be the way it is by the third or the fourth week. We're going to get better at all this, and we're putting all of our heads and our experience together, and we just know that it's going to be a really, really exceptional opportunity for all of us. And we've just in the planning and preparation for this, we have already grown a tremendous amount. And like I said, the most important thing is watching all of you just come through the waiting room and seeing all these names and faces and people. So we're excited to be there with you. If virtually only, that's okay, and we'll see what happens in the rest of our time. But be patient with all of us, because it's going to be a learning curve for all of us, and we'll try to be as patient back the other way as well. So we have a little time for Q&A, and I'm going to get us out of this and get us out of share mode so we can see some people. Yeah. So if you do, you can put, hi there. So are we meeting on Zoom or Google Classroom? We are meeting on Zoom, but you're going to be getting your information. In other words, your music and your MP3s, any other information, you'll be getting that through Google Classroom. But we're not doing Google Meet. We are doing it on Zoom. And each of the groups will have their own Zoom link. So there'll be a separate one for Academy, and it will be the same one each week. So once you get that Zoom link, and we'll be putting those together in the next week. Once you get that Zoom link, that'll be the same link that you use for the rest of the fall. All right? So Academy will have one, Debut will have one, Conservatory will have one, and Brass Choir will have one. And then you'll go to your sectionals from inside of that. All right? Will we get the Zoom link from Google Classroom? I will probably load it into Google Classroom, but we'll send it out in an email. What a great, Luke, what a great question. That's so cool to read these. Thanks, Albany. And thanks for the recommendation too, Scarlett. And that is somebody that we thought about, by the way. Yay! Yay!
Y'all are cute.
Are we doing senior solos this year? We don't know what we're doing. This is all we have planned for right now. So we just don't know what will hold for the rest of the. We were hoping to do some feature some people at the spring concert. And we all know how that went. So we just don't know what's going to happen, but it's a possibility. Everything is a possibility. Can we share musical things we put on YouTube in the Google Classroom once the link gets sent out? At this point, I don't have students being able to comment, but we'll have to talk about that. That's a possibility. Have you sent the email with the music? No, the music is not coming via an email. So, and nobody has the link to get, or nobody has a link to get music yet. So you'll get an email once you've paid your tuition. Within a couple days, hopefully, you will have your link to go sign up for Google Classroom. Then all of your music and the MP3s and with and without the click track for Academy anyway, will be there. All right, so you'll get, and plus your part assignment lists will also be in Google Classroom. So that's where you're going to find it. Everything's going to be there.
Mr. Allison, can I jump in real quick?
No. Yeah, sure.
So think of Google Classroom as being the equivalent to the folder we would give you. So that is where the materials will be. But Zoom is where we will be meeting together. So in Google Classroom, you'll see what part you're playing. Or again, for Conservatory WIN players, I'm going to have you download all the parts, and your teaching artist will work with you to get parts assigned. Violinists I already assigned, but Academy and Brass Choir, Mr. Allison will have a grid of who's playing what part. And so that'll become, the link to get there will be coming out sometime this week. We don't, next weekend is Labor Day weekend. I know we've all lost track of time, and it's gone the way of our haircuts, but so there's nothing next weekend. This starts on September 13th and continues into November. So you'll get the link to go into Google Classroom. You'll download your materials, and then our first time meeting together will be September 13th, 2 weeks from today. And so if you're in brass choir, you'll start at 4 o'clock. If you're not in brass choir, you'll start at 4:30, either in Academy or Conservatory. But I just wanted to clarify that. Think of Google Classroom as the folder we would give you, but we'll be meeting on Zoom. And yeah.
And there's a question about your folders from last year. If you have a Conservatory, one of the heavy black folders, where it needs to come is to my porch. All right, it needs to be turned in, and there's actually a container to bring it in. So you can turn that in anytime, and we were supposed to get out an email about that, but we just kept putting it off. If you have debut music, or if you were formerly in debut, or if you have Academy music, you can recycle it if you wish, or you can hold on to it for the rest of your life. You can fill a pillow with it. It's okay. But the Conservatory folders and music do need to come back to us for a different reason. So our charging. Okay, so one of the reasons we wanted to make, so we were thinking that SOGO might be a little bit less expensive, but what we realized is that we've lost a huge revenue stream, because Helen Hashker just asked, will we be charging concert goers to watch our performances? No. Those videos are going to be out there for you to share, but I think we will have ways to encourage people and have links embedded in the videos, so that people, if you're sharing it with people, there'll be a place where they can go and donate to us. All right. Admit. Okay. But good question. And that was part of the issue, we lost this huge revenue stream. And I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars we make when we have a concert, and now we don't have that. So those are really a concern. And the music can be recycled from Academy or debut. But the music and the music folders for Conservatory, put them on our porch. All right? Make sure your name's on the folder, which it should be. Okay. KK. All right? Any other questions? This is great. You all look so beautiful and handsome.
And hopefully you know which is which.
Yeah, well, you know. Going to give you about another minute.
We know we have blind spots, so don't feel bad if you have a question. Chances are you're not the only one wondering it, because even though this is our second time through it, we still miss things.
Oh my gosh, I'm just clicking through the pages. It's just so cool to see all of you.
I know.
Oh my gosh. It makes you miss, it makes me miss, I missed you before, but now I really miss you. I know. Don't make Mr. Allison cry.
You've held it together this long. To be fair, I should say we've held it together this long.
There you go. We should have a Minecraft server for each orchestra. Oh, sorry, that was a private comment. That's funny. That's funny. Anybody else? It was mentioned earlier that Conservatory would play Olympics, right? You are playing Olympic Spirit, and that's the music that's going to be for Conservatory. That's the music that will be in Google Classroom. Some of you already have parts for that. If you want to keep that, I guess it's fine. I don't think it matters, does it, Mr. May?
So that was one of those details I didn't really think through. But yeah, some of you, if you were in Conservatory last year, got parts for Olympic Spirit because we were going to play it. So you'll want to check for violinists. You'll want to check the list that you'll see in Google Classroom for who's playing first and who's playing second, because you may have the same part or you may have a different part. Violas, cellos, basses, if you already have it, it's just a scan of what I already gave you. So all the bowings are the same, everything's the same. So you can just read off of the part you had. For wind players, again, you may be playing a different part than you would have in the spring. So you can bring your part, but you'll also want to print the other parts and bring them to the first rehearsal, and your teaching artist will work with you on that. But you know, I picked that because it goes along at a steady speed, and it's fun and it's exciting, and who doesn't like John Williams? It's really the perfect thing to work on during this season. So again, for Conservatory, we're going to flip the order. We're going to do the Messiah movement first. What I'm hoping, by the way, for that is, as you know, it's normally a sing-along with people in the audience singing along. And so the reason we're doing that video first is because I'm hoping that we can get that video done in October and send it off and have the text overlaid over the top of the video and put it out as like a sing your own Messiah at home for folks, so that we can be a blessing to them during the holiday time. And then we'll do, starting in October through right before Thanksgiving, then we'll work on Olympic Spirit and get that one done too. What else has come in?
I think I answered them all.
Okay. So just a reminder, the next steps, once you've paid your tuition, then sometime this week, you'll be on the lookout for your Google Classroom link. And we start this endeavor 2 weeks from today. And please, please, please don't be shy about reaching out to Mr. Allison or myself, or the student orchestras at Gmail address, which goes to our office. Don't be shy if you have a question. You know, we're all kind of figuring it out together. And so thank you for your grace and mercy and patience with us as we embark together. But once again, it's just so lovely to see your faces, and onward we go. So if there are no further questions, then sort of like what we did in the spring, I'm just gonna unmute everybody and kind of turn you loose to say hi to each other on your way out. And feel free to stick around if you want to ask us something or chat up your friends. But we're gonna just unleash absolute chaos now. Good to see you all. Be on the lookout for the links, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Hello.
Hello.
Good now.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Hello. Goodbye. Bye. Hello. Bye. A lot. Really looking forward to it. Bye-bye.
Below.
Hi.
Bye.
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 Bye. See ya.
Soon.
Oh, look at you guys. Oh. Miss you guys.
All the cutest ones are the last to leave.
Bye.
That means they're never gonna leave now. I'm not gonna leave. Okay, I'm gonna end the meeting.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye bye.